Hey guys, Wet Movie 1 back here again for another Blu-ray DVD update video for you guys today. It's been about 2 weeks or so since my last one. Got a big old stack of goodies here to talk to you guys about today. Also, my mom's gonna pop in with her guest review this week. But before I get to the reviews and stuff, guys, I gotta bring up something here because I've been getting a lot of comments on my last Hoarding Up video, messages on my Twitter, messages on my Facebook going, "Is Gabriel dead? What happened to Gabriel? Did Gabriel really pass away?" No, man. Gabriel didn't die. I talked to him last night. We're trying to make plans to hang out, hopefully sometime this weekend. It's just, I don't know why that happens. I get comments every once in a while saying, "Oh, did he die?" No, Gabriel is not dead. He's doing well. He's on vacation from school right now and everything. I just wanted to address that for people that were worried and stressed about it. Gabriel's not dead. I talked to him last night and he's posting pictures and stuff on his Facebook. He is not dead. But guys, let's get on to the reviews here. I got some really cool stuff for you guys today. I'm even wearing my what's it called, Dazed Confused t-shirt right now, tie-dye and stuff. I haven't worn a tie-dye shirt since I was a kid. I don't know, this might be just an inside house kind of shirt. But the first movie up here from Scream Factory is one of my favorite Wes Craven movies of all time, next to Nightmare on Elm Street and stuff. And that is The People Under the Stairs here on Blu-ray. This is the new collector's edition version. If you guys have never seen this movie before, my God, it's probably one of the most memorable movies Wes Craven has done, at least in my opinion. It's about this young kid named Fool, or Dexter, or whatever you guys want to call him. He lives in the ghetto. His mother is dying of cancer or something like that. And, they're about to get evicted from their home. They live in this really crappy place, and they're the only people that live in this one building until Ving Rhames' character, who also stars in the film, is kind of like, the family, like a family friend that's really into some shady kind of stuff. So he decides to take along a friend and Dexter to go rob this one house to try to, make some money. And when they go to this one house, some of them may or may not leave that house, and it's all the craziness, that happens inside that house, and the owners of the house, are they crazy, and what's going on with the people under the stairs? There's all this crazy stuff. If you've never seen it before, I don't want to ruin it for you, but it's just like a great mix of horror and, like weird dark comedy. The cool thing is about this Blu-ray, because it's been released before by Universal like a year ago, but that Blu-ray doesn't have any special features on it. This one right here does. It has a new interview on here with the star of the film. I forgot her name now. What's her name? I keep forgetting. Wendy, and it has 2 new audio commentary tracks on here. One with Michael Felsher from Red Shirt Pictures and Wes Craven talking about the film, and then there's another one on here with the cast and crew, some of the cast, like Whalen and some of the other people, talking about their experiences on making this film. And I found those 2 commentaries to be really insightful. I really did get into them, because I don't really watch commentaries on just any movie. It has to be a movie I really love, like this one, and it's the first time in a while I actually listened to a commentary, But People Under the Stairs here on Blu-ray looks fantastic, has a great amount of special features on it, so if you're a fan of the film, definite upgrade, man, definitely. And next up over here is another one from Scream Factory, and it's called Wyrwood, Road of the Dead here on Blu-ray. This is a new Australian zombie film that kind of has this mix of, like it says on the back here, Mad Max meets, Dawn of the Dead and stuff like that. A little bit of Mad Max, kind of, I can see that. But it's pretty much about this, the world, is being taken over by zombies. There's like this virus in the air, and if you're not a certain blood type, you're going to turn into a zombie and, wipe you out. And it's pretty much about the select few of people that are still alive, just trying to fight to survive and figure out how they're going to live with all these zombies around and what they're going to do. And there's like these people we have these weird scientist people, driving around on the streets in these trucks, like performing weird experiments on zombies and human people that are still alive, like all this weird crazy stuff. That's all I can really say about the movie. I thought it was really fast paced, really had some good action sequences in here, really bold and rich colors. The way they shot this movie, I think they really brought out the color palette in this movie, and the gore effects are really good. I'm not saying it's an amazing movie, like it's not better than Dawn of the Dead or any of the George Romero movies or anything like that, but it is kind of really hard hitting and kind of cool. I really did kind of get a kick out of this one. The story's not like mind-blowing or anything like that, but it's totally watchable, man. I dug it. And next up over here from Scream Factory also is a sequel to Tobe Hooper's film that came out, I think, in like 1999 or early 2000s, the Toolbox Murders. And we got the Toolbox Murders 2 here on Blu-ray. This one's sadly not directed by Tobe Hooper, but it kind of picks up where, kind of where the last one left off. I can't really remember the last one, how it ended or anything, but Toolbox Murderer is still out there, committing crimes, and he kidnaps this one woman and keeps like kind of torturing her and keeps her locked up behind these cages and is like not feeding her and not doing anything with her, just kind of like messing with her a little bit, because he killed her sister and she found out about it, and then he got kidnapped her, and as she's there being tortured by this guy for weeks and weeks, of course the cops are trying to find her as she's being tortured, and they're gonna find her in time, kind of movie. It was really low budget. I can't say I like this one whatsoever. The gore effects were kind of decent in here, but the story, it just felt like they were trying to make it long. They were trying to make this movie, feature length, but they didn't really have enough story or plot to make it keep going. It just felt like a weird jumbled kind of mess, and I really couldn't get into it. All I can say is the special gore effects were kind of cool. That's all I can really say about this one, to be honest. Alright guys, and next up from Unearthed Films is a new film in the American Guinea Pig series, and it's called American Guinea Pig, Bouquet of Guts and Gore, here on DVD. This is the 3-disc limited edition, and if you guys have never seen this movie before, it's pretty much about a couple of snuff filmmakers who abduct and kidnap these 2 women on the street at random and attempt to film them getting killed and tortured, one by one until the death. And that's pretty much a synopsis on this movie. I'm not gonna lie, I wanted to check it out for one reason and one reason only, is that my good friend Ate the Chosen One here on YouTube is the star of it, the guy that's right here on the cover here. I've been a big fan of his on YouTube for years. Me and him have been talking on here for a very long time. Very good friend of mine, and I wanted to go check this one out. I'm not gonna lie, I have never seen any of the other Guinea Pig movies in the series. They're not, they're not my kind of movie, and this wasn't either. But this movie did have some really kick-ass gore in here that some of the best gore I've seen in a long time, to be honest with you. Like, when the girls are getting dismembered and, getting chopped up and all this weird stuff, and the person that's doing the chopping and doing the torturing is Ate the Chosen One himself. If I didn't know Ate the Chosen One was in this and I watched this movie at random, I would think I was really watching a snuff film, because the way they shot it looked like they were shooting it on old like VHS tapes, or like like old like grainy kind of film stock or something. Like, it really felt like it could have been real. You know what I mean? If it wasn't for 8, I would have been like, oh shit, I'm watching like a real snuff film here. But I gotta say, man, this movie had probably the most shocking ending that I've ever seen in a movie to date, man. Like, I'm not gonna ruin it for you guys, but I'm like, 8, holy shit, man, is this what? Kind of thing. But I gotta say, Ate the Chosen One is the man, and he's awesome in this movie. And this limited edition 3-disc set here comes with the film, the soundtrack, and a bunch of special features on the 3rd disc, like a whole making of, which is like longer than the movie itself. I think it's like 1 hour and 40 minutes. And if you want to see what Ate the Chosen One looks like without his mask, you guys got to get this 3-disc edition here on DVD. But that's American Guinea Pig, Bouquet of Guts and Gore. Check it out, especially if you guys are gore hounds. If you guys are gore hounds, you guys would totally dig that one, man. Ate the Chosen One, you're my brother. And next up over here from Warner Brothers is a film I couldn't stand, to be 100% honest with you. It stars Reese Witherspoon and Sofia Vergara, and it's called Hot Pursuit here on Blu-ray. In this movie, Reese Witherspoon plays this cop who kind of has like a really, bad relationship with the precinct that she's working with, because they look at her like she's a joke, because she did something kind of stupid, in her younger days, when she became a cop. And now she's getting assigned to this one assignment to go get Sofia Vergara's character, who's like a wife of a mobster, to bring her in to protective custody, and so she can testify against this big bad mob boss. And it's just their little road trip along the way of her trying to bring her in, and all the craziness that happens in between. I really couldn't get into this one, guys. Like, it was terribly unfunny. The 2 actresses in the film didn't really have any chemistry together, and the script just really wasn't fleshed out or really funny whatsoever. And I found out by looking up online that the director of this one also directed the movie called The Guilt Trip with Barbara Streisand and Seth Rogen, and I didn't like that one either. And this one kind of has that same sort of feel to it. It felt like the comedy was really kind of forced. You know what I mean? And the actresses in the film, especially Sofia Vergara, it felt like, she's like, oh, this scene's not as funny as it could be, so I'm just gonna get a little bit louder and see if I can make it funny by doing, talking, even louder. And that just talking louder doesn't mean you're being funny. I don't know how to explain it. It was just really bad. If you guys have ever seen the movie Tammy, this movie is that kind of bad. I just really couldn't recommend this one, guys. Hot Pursuit here on Blu-ray. And next up over here is a classic film I've always loved, and I'm happy it's now on Blu-ray, and it's the anniversary edition of Free Willy here on Blu-ray. This is actually like the 10th anniversary edition, because all the special features that are on here are all the ones that were from the 10th anniversary DVD edition that came out years ago. The old Warner Brothers snapper case kind of one. If you guys have never seen Free Willy before, I don't know where have you guys been. It's pretty much about this young kid named Jesse. He's kind of like a troubled kid. He's going from foster home to foster home until he comes across this new family that he gets introduced to, and he starts to stay with them and try to start a new life. And yet, one day he gets busted for tagging, spray painting and stuff all over the place. At this one theme park, and then the cops bring him in, and he says, "Hey, you have to do some community service and clean up this, graffiti that you did." And where he did all this graffiti was at this, aquatic park, like SeaWorld kind of place. And he has to go there and clean it up, and he becomes friends with the whale there named Willy, and it's just their little adventure that they have. This movie spawned 3 sequels. The 4th one wasn't the greatest, but I've always liked, part 2 and 3. And the picture quality on this Blu-ray is absolutely amazing. But if you guys are a fan of the film, it looks amazing here on Blu-ray. You get all the same special features from the 10th anniversary edition DVD that came out years ago. Really highly recommend that movie if you've never seen them. And next up, guys, is a film I've always loved. It means a lot to me, and it's called Blast from the Past here on Blu-ray for the very first time. It stars Brendan Fraser and Alicia Silverstone, Sissy Spacek, and Christopher Walken. And in this movie, Brendan Fraser plays this character who has been living in a bomb shelter his entire life, because back in the early 60s, his parents, played by Christopher Walken and Sissy Spacek, thought this big war was going to break out, and they built this big elaborate, bomb shelter where they can live and sustain life for, a substantial amount of time. And now it's 35 years later. Brendan Fraser thinks it's good enough time to go up to the Earth to see how everything is, even though his parents think there might be mutants up there. Who knows what could have happened? And it's him going up there and experiencing life for the first time, other than living in a bomb shelter. And I've always really loved this movie. I could explain it a little bit better, but it's just a really fun, great late 90s movie. But the one thing I really love about this movie is that it was shot in Canoga Park, where I used to live, right next to the apartment complex I lived at. And I remember looking outside of my balcony one day, seeing Christopher Walken walking by, and I'm like, "Hey, Chris!" And he's like, "Hey!" And I was like, whatever, as he was filming, the movie, because when the movie came out, I'm like, that's what they were filming, because I can see the whole streets and the signs and the different places that I filmed my videos at and been walking through since I was a kid. It's just a very, very amazing, kind of thing. Like when you see a movie being made, and you're like, what is this movie called? And then you actually watch it and go, oh, that's what that one was. And it's just a really fun movie, a very rewatchable one too. Like when I got this Blu-ray, I haven't seen the movie in years, and I'm like, damn, I still like this movie. It's a really well told, really interesting, fun movie, and I gotta recommend it, man, to you guys. If you've never seen it before, please check this one out. And this next one up over here is a film I haven't seen since I was a kid, man. I might have seen it once when I was a kid, and watching it again, I'm like, oh my god, this brings back so many memories. And it's Joe Dante's film. It's called Inner Space here on Blu-ray. I know a lot of you guys probably already know what this one is, about these scientists creating something things that can shrink humans down to micro size. And in this movie, Dennis Quaid plays this guy that's being shrunken down into this little ship and put into this little vial he's in there and he's about to get injected into this little like rabbit or something, and then something goes wrong. People break in to the science lab and all hell breaks loose, and one of the scientists has that vial with him and is running off and runs into this mall to get away from the bad guys and injects Martin Short, you know, with this vial. So now, you know, Dennis Quaid is in this little ship inside, you know, Martin Short's body, and they're kind of like, you know, trying to, you know, figure out what the hell is going on. Now, Dennis Quaid's kind of like, you know, speaking to him in his ear, and all this craziness ensues, man. It's a really fun movie, man. Like, I don't know, man. I can't believe I didn't buy the DVD of this a long time ago. You know what I mean? Like, I remember seeing the VHS, but like just watching it after all these years brings back so many memories. It was such a fun movie.
Hi, it's me again, just stopping by real quick. You know me, I love my episodic TV and I love my British mysteries and those type of things, right? Well, today I have for you an HBO and BBC production called The Casual Vacancy. Now, of course, I'm just watching it as sort of like episodic television. This was in reality presented as a miniseries on HBO, I guess just this past April. Anyway, I really like it. It's about an idyllic English village called Pagford, hopefully I said that correctly. And what this is, it's based on a novel by J.K. Rowling, you know, the same author who did all the Harry Potter books. And this one is pretty cool. It's just about a regular town that appears, like I say, idyllic, but behind the scenes there's all sorts of stuff going on. You know, parents at war with their children, teachers at war with their students, rich at war, you know, warring with the poor. And I really enjoyed it. I've only, you know, let me be honest here, I've only watched about 2 to 3 episodes, maybe just 2, and I really like it. I'm waiting to see what happens. What the premise is at the beginning, these people here, well, not all of these people here, but all the characters, or most of the characters, are on the town council, and there suddenly becomes a vacancy on the town council because they were just about to vote on what they're going to do with this community house. Half the town, the majority of the town, want to turn it into a spa, and the rest of the town, you know, want to keep it like it is for what they call the people in the field, or people on the estate. Those are referring to the poor people in the village. And of course what happens is one member dies, so it leaves a vacancy, and the story basically just goes on from there. And with a little bit, at least interest for me, I don't know if it's based on the whole thing, but the fellow who dies, who happens to be, you know, just a real community involved person, and he's also one of the lawyers in the town, he dies, and all of a sudden people start getting emails from the ghost of this character. So I'm like, wait, what? Is this guy really dead or what? So I'm intrigued by that. I mean, I know it might be just something minor, but so far on the episodes I've watched, I've really liked it. You might want to check it out. I'll talk to you later. Bye.
And next up over here from the Warner Archive collection is a film I've always kind of liked. So I like the kung fu martial art kind of movies, and this is the first time it's been presented in HD. It stars Dolph Lundgren and Brandon Lee, and that is Showdown in Little Tokyo here on Blu-ray. It's pretty much about these, you know, 2 cops that are, you know, being sent in to take out the Yakuza. If you guys don't know who the Yakuza are, they're like, you know, a Japanese mob that, you know, run all over Japan. And now the Japanese mob are over here in LA taking over Little Tokyo, and Brandon Lee and Dolph Lundgren are sent out to take them out any way they know how. But yet they're the complete opposite of one another. You know what I mean? One of them's like a valley kind of guy. The other one's like, you know, really strict on other stuff. It's a really, really fun movie, and a lot of great, you know, martial art actors are in this film, especially from that, you know, that time period. Like, you get the guy, I'm so sorry, I can't remember his name, but he's the guy that plays Shang Tsung in the Mortal Kombat movie. He's like the main bad guy in this flick, and he's always really cool. My friend Philip Tan is also in this movie. He's been in like other movies like Surf Ninjas. And if you guys love fun, you know, buddy cop movies, martial art kind of fighting things, definitely check out, Showdown in Little Tokyo. It's a really fun early 90s flick. I've always liked Brandon Lee, man. It's really sad to know what happened to him on the set of The Crow, but I don't know, man. But the Blu-ray looks fantastic, and you get the theatrical trailer on this bad boy too. Alright guys, and next up from CBS Home Video is a set I was very excited to get because I'm a big fan of the show, and I have been since I was a kid watching them on television with my family. And this is the ultimate Season 2 of I Love Lucy here on Blu-ray. On this Blu-ray set here, you get all 31 uncut episodes of the I Love Lucy show. But the cool thing is about this Blu-ray, you can watch the episodes in two different ways. One, just like the regular episodes as they air on television, but now you get to watch the episodes in its original broadcast version with the Philip Morris cigarette commercials in between the different commercial breaks. Very cool stuff that they added here, because you get Lucy and Desi Arnaz in the Philip Morris cigarette commercials going, these are really smooth, and weird stuff that you don't really see today, especially on other previous DVD sets that I've owned. And that was kind of cool. And I gotta say, man, the picture quality on these Blu-ray sets from Season 1 and Season 2 just look spectacular. They look a lot better than you would think they would. You know what I mean? Because I believe the show was shot on film, back in the day. And also this season also has one of my favorite all-time episodes, one I always remembered forever. And it was called, on the set here, it's called Job Switching, where, Lucy and Fred and Ethel, the two pairs had to switch. One of them had to do the housework, and then the other one, Lucy and Ethel, had to go out and earn a living for the household and stuff. And they get a job at this chocolate factory, and they can't do it right or fast enough, and shoving chocolates in their mouth. That's one of the most memorable episodes to me that I've always remembered. And with that episode on this Blu-ray here, you also can watch it in the colored version, the colorized version of that episode, and that was kind of cool to see that added, on this Blu-ray set here. And you also get audio commentary tracks by television historians, little radio spots, TV promos that Lucy and Desi shot for the show when it was on television. Man, it's just a very, very packed set. A lot of great special features. I really did enjoy this set here. So if you're a fan of I Love Lucy, you guys gotta pick up Season 2 here on Blu-ray. And next up over here from Wellgo USA is a movie I've been really wanting to see, because I've been a big fan of the series that Jackie Chan's done. And this is the new one in the series. I believe it was shot back in 2013, and it's called Police Story Lockdown here on Blu-ray. I forget if this is the fourth or fifth installment of the franchise, because I know there's Police Story 2, which were the more comic ones, and then Jackie Chan came up with a new Police Story, which is more dark and gritty, and so is this one. And in this one, he plays, Detective Wayne. He's a police officer, and he's going to try to reconnect with his daughter, because he hasn't seen her in a very long time, because something really bad happened years ago, and he's going to try to reconnect with her. And he goes into this club where he thinks she's at, and he starts talking to her until something really bad happens, and he's thrown into this situation on how to try to figure out if he's gonna try to save his daughter or all the other people in this club, because all this craziness is really is going down. And of course, something from his past of being a police officer is kind of catching up with him. And I found this one to be a really dark, kind of really kick-ass kind of action flick. You don't get Jackie Chan like you used to get him, jumping from building to building and doing super crazy stunts. But that's okay, because he's getting up there in age, and I don't want to see him hurt himself. But in this movie, man, he was really kicking butt, man, and taking names in this one. And if you're a fan of Jackie, definitely check out the new Police Story here, Lockdown. Alright guys, and next up from Anchor Bay is Adult Beginners here on Blu-ray, starring Nick Kroll and Joe McHale here. In this movie, Nick Kroll plays this really hipsterish kind of guy who's kind of inventing and starting up this big stock business or what have you. And at the beginning of this movie, it crashes. His life goes to shambles, and he doesn't really know what to do with his life. So he decides to move in with his sister, who has already a husband and a kid already, just to try to regroup and figure out what he's going to do with his life. And then, as he's there, he starts to take care of his sister's kid, and just, him just trying to come to terms with life and, what he's been doing with his life. Was it the right thing? Is it the wrong wrong thing, you know, kind of thinks in his other life he screwed over a lot of people, not meaning to do so, and now he's just trying to make it, you know, make things right in the world with himself. And I found this movie to be kind of entertaining, man. It's a nice, light comedy drama film that I think I would watch again. You know what I mean? I think they had really good performances in here by, what's his name again? Nick Kroll from The Kroll Show on Comedy Central. Joel McHale's not really in the film very much, but the movie was actually really enjoyable. You know what I mean? It kind of hits home with me a little bit because, you know, he's in with his with his sister and kid, and it's him, you know, trying to take care of the kid and not really knowing what he's doing because he's never really took care of kids before, like how I am with Ethan and watching him a little bit. I don't know, I kind of enjoyed it on that aspect of the film. But if it sounds interesting to you guys, definitely check it out. It's definitely a Redbox rental, but I like that one very much. Alright guys, and next up from Arrow Films US, is the Stray Cat Rock series here on Blu-ray for the very first time over here in the States. This film set here has Delinquent Girl Boss, Wild Jumbo, Sex Hunter, Machine Animal, and Beast 71 here on Blu-ray. These are all Japanese exploitation films from the early 70s into the late 70s, and they all star this one beautiful actress named Miki Kaji. Hopefully I said her name right. She was in movies like, what was it called again? I believe she was in Retaliation, another film Arrow Films put out, and she was also in Lady Swordblood. She's a really cool, fantastic actress, and these are films that when you watch them, you can totally see Quentin Tarantino getting his, you know, inspiration from to make like Kill Bill in his films. Like the whole vibe and the look of these movies really feel like, you know, this is where Quentin Tarantino got his inspiration from. And I'm not gonna lie, I only watched 3 of the films on here so far, but Delinquent Girl Boss is one of my favorite ones that's on this set here. It's about this, you know, group of it's like a girl biker gang movie about these two girl gangs that are going face to face with one another, head to head, and, you know, trying to, you know, take over what, you know, their turf and whose turf is whose and stuff like that. And yet there's like this bet going on, you know, with this boxer. He's got to throw this fight or something really bad's gonna happen to one of the girl gangs, and you know, I call that Miki Kaja is like, of course, the leader of one of the biker gangs, and it's them just trying to figure out what they're gonna do. It's a really fun movie, man. All these films look fantastic on Blu-ray of the ones I've seen so far, and they're all pretty much packed with different special features like interviews with some of the cast that are still around today. This set right here is actually limited to 3,000, and this one right here has interviews, a collector's booklet in here, which was a nice read especially if you're a fan of these films here. I can stand here all day talking to you about the films that I've seen on here and everything, but I'll be here all day. But if you guys are into Japanese exploitation films and you guys like movies like Easy Rider and like Wild Angels, is that the Roger Corman movie that he made back in the day? You know, weird biker movies of the 60s and 70s. You guys will get a kick out of some of these films in this set here. Very, very well put together sets. I always like the presentation that Arrow does, man. They do a great job. Alright guys, and next up from Lionsgate is Barely Lethal here on Blu-ray, starring Samuel L. Jackson, Jessica Alba, and Haley Seinfeld here. And in this movie, Haley Seinfeld plays this young girl who's ever since she was just a little kid has been taught to become an assassin, has been trained by Samuel L. Jackson and Samuel L. Jackson's minions to become, you know, a little girl assassin along with all these other little girls in this agency. And when she gets older, like teenage years, she's like, I'm getting tired of this, and fakes her own death and tries to start a new life as like a regular teenager and enrolls in high school and tries to get away from, you know, her secret agent life. So she goes to like this high school, tries to get away from her old life, and, you know, then it turns into like this whole little comedy movie with her not really fitting in with people in school, and, you know, it's her trying to, you know, fit into the high school life when, like, you know, the darkness of her past may or may not, you know, come around again. I found this movie to be really kind of enjoyable. It kind of, you know, harkens back to the days of like the cool teenage movies of the 80s and the 90s. You know what I mean? Like this one, of course, like it touches on like Never Been Kissed. It kind of has that kind of vibe to it. Because remember, Never Been Kissed with Drew Barrymore. She's like a journalist or something going into high school to act like she's a teenager, but she's not, kind of thing. But in this one, the girl really is a teenager and going in there, but yeah, she has a dark past of like being an assassin and, you know, crazy things like that. I found this movie to be really enjoyable. They even, you know, like give little nods to like Never Been Kissed, and they even talk about like The Breakfast Club and, you know, the John Hughes movies. Very, very enjoyable movie. Like, it's not like mind-blowing or anything like that, but I really dug this one very much, man. That's Barely Lethal here. And next up over here from Magnolia is a cool little new action flick, and it's called The Dead Islands here on a Blu-ray. This movie kind of has that same vibe as like Apocalypto, a little bit like that. It's about this one guy that's like a part of this tribe in the middle of these woods, until one day another tribe comes in and, you know, kills his, like, you know, his master and everyone else, pretty much everyone else, you know, that's in his tribe, and it's pretty much this one guy, you know, going against the bad people that killed his, you know, his family and things, and it's him just trying to find them and going in, you know, deeper into the Dead Islands. The Dead Islands are like the parts of the island that no one is ever go into, and he goes in there and he starts working with this like demon kind of guy, you know, get his revenge on the guys that killed his family. I thought it was just okay, you know what I mean? It looked beautiful, the fight scenes are great, but like, just this story was just kind of, not a lot of it, you know what I mean? When I was watching it, I felt like I was watching like a Tony Jaa kind of movie, you know what I mean? Just like the way the fight scenes were and the way things were shot, it kind of felt like a new age Tony Jaa kind of Protector movie. But next up over here from Lionsgate is something I just had to get because you guys all know I love Power Rangers. And this is the new Power Rangers DVD that just came out. It's called Power Rangers Super Mega Force Legacy Battle here on a DVD. This is the movie version. This one is like the episode that came on television where, of course, the Power Rangers are still fighting the evil alien armada that's taking over Earth. And at the beginning of this episode, the Power Rangers they think they defeated the armada and everybody's wiped out. They think they've won the battle, you know, against the bad guys, but yet they just don't know that the even badder bad guy is bringing thousands and thousands of, you know, evil armada ships to come down to take out the Rangers. And this is one of their big, you know, final battles. During this battle, they don't know if they're going to live or die, and they're using all the powers they can, and they just can't defeat the bad guy. And then, of course, Power Rangers from past seasons like Tommy, the Green and White Ranger from Mighty Morphin, and some other Rangers from all the other different seasons come in to help the new Power Rangers to take out the bad guys in the evil armada. It was actually really kind of cool to see Tommy back in here, Jason David Frank, man. Like, I really got a kick out of this. It's like an hour-long episode in here, and this DVD version has 8 minutes of footage that you didn't see on television, and it also has a cool little featurette on here talking to Jason David Frank and some of the older Rangers, talking about their experiences on the show and how long, you know, how being on the Power Ranger show changed their life for the good. And it was actually really kind of an entertaining DVD, better than, you know, the average episodes that come on, but I really dug that one. And last up for my update today is from RLJ Entertainment, and that is called Blackbird here on DVD. The only reason I really wanted to see this one, to be honest, because it stars Monique, and in this movie it's about this young boy. He grows up Christian, like he's growing up the Christian life, and his mom and him are really suffering because a couple of years ago their daughter, or you know, his sister went missing, and they never found her, and their mom's always been depressed about it. But yet he has feelings for guys. He's gay, but he can't, you know, he doesn't want to come to terms with it because, you know, he's really strongly believes in the Christian lifestyle or whatever it is, and he doesn't really know what he wants to do with his feelings. You know, he's always waking up having wet dreams, you know, about, you know, having sex with the guys at school, and it's just pretty much him trying to come to terms with his life. And you know, is he gonna come forward and be gay, or is he gonna, you know, hide behind his shell the rest of his life? That's what the movie kind of is, and Monique plays his mother. I think Monique did a very good job in this movie. So did the newcomer here, Julian Walker. He did some good performances in here, but I just really couldn't get into it because they kept, you know, hammering in the God, you know, thing in here, like, you know, gotta believe in God, God this, God that, like every couple minutes, and I was kind of like, oh, okay, it's cool that you can believe what you want to believe, I believe in God, you don't have to say it every 5 seconds. But that's Blackbird here. But guys, that's all I have to show you guys today for my Blu-ray DVD update. Please give this video a thumbs up, and guys, Gabriel is not dead, he's alive. See you next time.